Welcome back, nerds. Today we're starting off with the newest of Marvel shows coming to everyone's superhero streaming service, Disney+. Riley, which Marvel character are you most excited to see on screen?
Wow, that's a tough question, Darren, because Marvel is going to be releasing a ton of content when it comes to Disney Plus and streaming and everything. But I think one of my favorites that might not initially be out in one of those streaming services has to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man No Way Home, the title of the movie just released, and I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I'd say he's probably my second favorite superhero. You'll hear who my first one is a little bit later in the show, but Spider-Man's really relatable for me. I grew to him and Tom Holland as a teenager. I could see a lot of similarities between him and myself as a character, so that's probably like my favorite one that I'm looking forward to. But when it comes to the streaming platform on Disney Plus and everything that Marvel's going to be pushing out, I'd have to say Hawkeye might be my favorite one. He's probably my favorite, I'd say B-tier superhero. So I'm definitely excited for the Hawkeye series to come out.
Oh, I definitely agree with you. Spider-Man is probably one of my favorite heroes as well. What about you, Tony? What show are you excited for?
Oh, gosh, so many options. I mean, for starting with my favorite superhero, right? Favorite superhero, I'm probably gonna have to go with Captain America. He's a character that I've always kind of looked up to, especially in the Marvel cinematic universe. I think the quote that I always remember was the one right before he got the super serum, and the doctor says, "Promise me that no matter what happens tomorrow, you will remain who you are. Not a perfect soldier, but a good man." And that's a quote that's always on my mind. I should always be a good person, and also, other than him, I like some of the more obscure heroes Marvel's introduced into their cinematic universe, like Nebula. I happen to love her as a character. She has such a great arc. She has some of the most human quotes in the MCU, and her relationship with her sister Gamora and her adoptive father Thanos is just such a great. It makes such a great story with such great drama. But for streaming services, like right now, I am loving WandaVision. It's so quirky and fun, and it's a bit different from other Marvel properties. Would you guys agree with that?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, in its sitcom-y style, it definitely makes it unique among the shows that they have on Disney Plus. I mean, just the way that they're going from generational sitcom shows, and then of course just the way they're going about it. I mean, I think every episode has had a big surprise that comes in it. For me, I think the biggest one was when they brought in Quicksilver, and they brought in the Quicksilver that was done in the X-Men series and not Quicksilver in the movie Age of Ultron. I thought that was a big surprise for me. What about you, Riley?
Yeah, I definitely think WandaVision is one of the best shows right now when it comes to Disney Plus and everything. But I'm more interested to see what kind of the impact that WandaVision is going to have, not only on Disney Plus, not only for Marvel in general, but the MCU, because there's a lot of possibilities that can come from WandaVision right now. I know the multiverse is something that they might touch into, and obviously that's going to tie into Doctor Strange and everything. So there's going to be a lot of possibilities that Marvel can use in the near future, and that could potentially, theoretically, bring back characters like Captain America and Iron Man. Do I think they will bring them back? No, but it's one of those potentials, and I think that's why one of the reasons, going back to Spider-Man No Way Home, it'll be so interesting because they rumored to bring back Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland all in the same movie.
The take on the multiverse, I think, is also extremely interesting. I mean, being able to bring in these different ideas of each character and being able to show it on the big screen, I think is probably one of the coolest things they can do in the Marvel universe at the moment. What's your take on the multiverse, Tony?
Oh man, well, Darren, I think it's gonna be epic, and I'm a little worried it might be a little bit confusing, kind of like a Pandora's box situation where there's so many different versions of this here, like what Riley said with other versions of Spider-Man appearing, It could be a little confusing, but I think if handled well, it could be a really cool concept, and I think it's gonna, and knowing Marvel and their head producer Kevin Feige will probably do a great job with it.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, tying with like other storylines and everything too. Obviously, with the Loki series coming out, that's going to be a little bit different too, because the last time we saw Loki was in Endgame and everything. He ended up with the Tesseract again. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see what kind of chaos Loki will occur in the MCU and kind of an alternate timeline. I wouldn't say alternate universe, but it's a different timeline.
Yeah, I mean, agreed. Loki's personally one of my favorite villains. I mean, you can also technically call him a hero too.
Anti-hero.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Tom Hiddleston plays him extremely well. For Captain Winter Soldier and Winter Soldier and Falcon is also going to be one of my favorite series coming up. That's all we have for the first segment, but stay right there. And when we come back, we are introducing our newest bit, Tweet of the Day. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Today we're introducing something a little new, and in front of you, you'll see a tweet that was trending on Twitter recently. Tony, we'll start with you. What is your opinion on the Snyder Cut?
Well, Darrion, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm really excited for it. I mean, when the first trailer was dropped on Valentine's Day, that was like, this is just what I needed for on Valentine's Day. And from everything I've seen and heard, from stuff like the Joker reappearing, the Jared Leto version, I'm kind of hoping he'll portray the character a little bit better here. No offense to his portrayal in Suicide Squad, but it just wasn't enough. And all the celestial beings I think they're introducing, like I've heard rumors of the Martian Manhunter appearing, so it'll be pretty cool.
Oh, I agree. I was disappointed by the first Justice League movie. Really excited. I mean, it's going to be 4 hours long. I mean, that's going to be such a long movie. So they'll definitely put a lot of stuff and a lot of content into it. What do you think, Riley? What do you think about the cut?
Yeah, personally, I'm a little bit disappointed that's going to be on HBO Max, partly because I don't have it, so I'm going to have to find another way to watch it, whether if it's just watching with a friend or in a way that HBO Max wouldn't be proud of. So there's that aspect of it. But I mentioned earlier, Spider-Man's my second favorite superhero. My first one is Superman, and I love Superman's content and everything. But I feel like DC kind of just underutilizes Superman as a superhero in general. I think Superman has the potential to be the most well-liked superhero, along with Batman. And I feel like along with Batman, too, Batman's also very underutilized as a superhero. But I'm very excited for it. I'll probably definitely check it out. Normally, it's kind of tough for me to check something out that's 4 hours long. The only thing I think I might have considered before this cut coming out would be like how they rumored like the Revenge of the Sith from Star Wars original cut, because that was supposed to be that was supposed to be like really long, but I don't think they're ever going to release that. But
never say never.
Yeah, that's true, Tony.
I mean, I love Superman too. I mean, I hope in the movie they're gonna go more into like the Flash. I hope he has like a bigger part in this upcoming movie. Who are you excited to see, Tony, in the Justice League movie?
Ooh, before I start, does that mean we're talking about hero, villain, or?
Oh, anyone,
Oh,
anyone you're excited for.
All right. Oh well, like I said before, the Martian Manhunter was rumored to be in it, and I think he'd be a pretty cool character to see on screen. And like Riley said, I also love Superman, and I've always been a huge Batman fan from the time I was little. My family has old pictures of me in Halloween costumes as Batman. So yeah, and like I said before, I'd like to see more of Jared Leto's take on the Joker, which I've heard is really good and really interesting because I've heard rumors that him and Batman might be working together. So we'll see what happens with it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, extremely excited for it. Coming out on March 18th, so that's going to be relatively soon. I think for me, I mean, the disappointing part about the Justice League movie was probably the graphics. They made some of the characters look a little cheesy. Seeing the new form, their new take on Steppenwolf, the villain. Seeing Darkseid, oh my goodness, Darkseid looks absolutely amazing.
Is that is in the trailer?
Yeah, I mean,
really?
they show him like just coming down and like just being the big bad, almost like how Thanos was the big bad in Marvel. I mean, Darkseid is the big bad in the Justice League. Riley, I mean, you said your favorite character is your favorite hero is Superman. Are you also like a big Batman fan, or?
No, I'm not a big Batman fan at all, but the one character I do want to see more of when it comes to Justice League, just like Tony, just like you, Darrion, I want to see more of the Flash and everything. I think this is a character that can really help DC grow in the future and kind of catch up to Marvel just a tad, because obviously DC is trailing so far behind Marvel. So I think the Flash is definitely a character that they need to get fans behind and fans to like. That way they can at least... They're not going to catch up to Marvel immediately, but it'll at least help them gain a little bit of ground. But like I said earlier, DC kind of underwhelms and underutilizes its characters.
I completely agree with that. In spirit of having tweet of the day, we're now on Twitter. Find us at NerdAlertWCTV and let us know what you think about Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League.
We're going to fade up to camera 3 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, take it.
To wrap up today's episode, we're going to throw it back to the cult classic Spongebob. It's been on air for 2 decades at this point, and the real question is, what's better, the original episodes or the new content coming out today? Riley, we'll start with you. What do you think is better?
Obviously, I'm going to have to go with the original content here. I can't go with the new stuff on SpongeBob because it's not any good in my opinion. Personally, the older stuff, that's kind of what I grew up with. I have a lot of nostalgia when it comes to the older episodes of SpongeBob. And all my friends and everything, we still have a love for SpongeBob. Brock Owens, one of my friends and former roommate here at Waynesburg University, last semester we'd have a SpongeBob club before our one class that we had together, and we'd end up watching a couple of episodes before the class would start. And we'd always just watch episodes from seasons 1 to 4 because personally I think those are the best seasons when it comes to SpongeBob in general. But when I ended up coming home for winter break last semester, all my friends and everything, we were playing football, and we ended up getting a couple pizzas, and we ended up watching the original SpongeBob movie afterwards.
Yeah, I love SpongeBob. SpongeBob is definitely one of my childhood classics. What do you... I definitely prefer the older episodes over the newer ones. Tony, which ones did you prefer?
Well, you guys have already said it. I prefer the older stuff. Because not just because that came first, it's just there's some jokes in that show that just are just timeless to me. Like, let me just narrow it down to just one. And on top of that too, there's so many quotable lines from it,
It's so hard to narrow
it
down
is,
to
yeah.
one. That's,
So many.
that's what you're talking about there. You're trying to narrow it to one. There's so many different ones that you just can't pick to just one.
Too many classics.
Mm-hmm.
No. And not to diss on the newer show or the newer series or anything. There's some good in there. There's some. It's just not as good. But we gotta learn. And there's some episodes that do make me chuckle, like newer ones.
But it's definitely not nearly as good as the better
Yeah, man.
shows, the better episodes. I mean, I know everybody like this name SpongeBob. Everybody loves SpongeBob, but like who's like another favorite character from the show, Riley?
Ooh, it's obviously got to be Patrick Star for me. I think honestly, Patrick might be the funniest character just because he's a little bit of he's a little dumb, which I think obviously makes the show a little bit better. You kind of have that dumb humor when it comes to Patrick in general. But there are so many. Obviously, Squidward being a pessimist, that's obviously a good one because SpongeBob and his optimism and Squidward's pessimistic attitude, they're kind of like yin and yang. They bounce off each other really well, I think, when it comes to humor.
They definitely balance each other very well. What about you, Tony? Who's another character? I mean, other than SpongeBob, that's probably one of your favorites.
Oh, well, yeah, I would definitely say Patrick and Squidward. I think Squidward gets more relatable with age. I agree with that statement. It's just so funny. And actually, for my friend's getting married over the weekend, and as a present, as a joke, I got him a portrait of Bold and Brash.
That's amazing.
I know. It's not in his registry, but I know he's going to love it anyway.
Bold and Brash, more like belongs in the trash.
Yeah. Oh, and actually, two other characters I love on that show would have to be Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. They are iconic. That's all I can say about them.
Oh, I
really.
mean, they're the superheroes, right? I mean,
yeah.
I love superheroes. You guys love superheroes. I mean, they're definitely funny representations of them. I mean, Plankton for me is probably my second favorite character on this show. Just the way him and Mr. Krabs go back and forth in their relationship and all of his maniacal schemes that he comes up with to try to steal the secret formula. What about favorite episodes? What is probably your favorite episode of SpongeBob, Riley?
Yeah, that was tough. You asked me that before the show started, and I really wasn't 100% certain on what I would have ended up picking for my favorite episode. But I think I obviously got to go with the Krusty Krab pizza one right now. That is my favorite by far. How am I supposed to eat this without my Diet Dr. Kelp? That line is iconic, as well as, it's not a boulder, it's a rock. So there's so many iconic moments from that episode in general, so it's my favorite.
I love that episode as well. What about you, Tony? What's your favorite episode?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. But I think I might have to go with either. These are my parents' favorites as well. Sailor Talk and the Krusty Krab training video.
Those are some really. I love those episodes as well. I mean, that's all we have for you today, but make sure to tune in next time for more nerdy nuances, and remember to hit us up on Twitter.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.